What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a highly requested episode of the Real GP series that I said I wasn't going to do, but just because you guys wanted to see it, here it is. Today we'll be checking out the Real GP per hour of the Revenants. Thank you all for coming back to check out another video. I know I said I wasn't going to do this one, but as time went on, some things I heard about the Revenants got a little bit more appealing. As more requests for Revenants came in, I also started to get curious about how much can actually be made here. Before we get going, if you haven't done so yet, please give me a follow on Instagram and Twitter. Doing so will allow you to stay up to date on some awesome player submitted achievements and see when I post new content. You can also consider hanging out in my clan chat or my Discord. We've always got a lot of people looking for boss teams, so some new faces are always welcome. If you need the link to the Discord, check out the description below for the permanent invite link. Alright, so let's get going with this week's content. As most of you know, the Revenants are located in the wilderness in the new Revenants dungeon. You can also find a ton of other NPCs in this cave as well, so if you're doing some wilderness slayer, consider bringing a cannon down here and knocking out a few tasks. The Revenants can be found farther toward the northeast end of the cave, and their area spans from about level 28 wilderness up to level 35 wilderness. This is a multi-combat zone in the wilderness, so if you're camping here for a long period of time, be on the lookout for PK teams, as they are pretty common. Down toward the southern end of the Revenant area, you'll find an agility shortcut for a quick getaway, but you won't be able to use it unless you have 89 agility or level 84 agility with a summer pie. As for getting to the Revenants, if you have level 84 agility or higher and a summer pie, you can use the burning amulet teleport to the bandit camp, which will teleport you just west of the cave's entrance that's in level 17 wilderness. Enter the cave here, navigate to the agility shortcut, and you're there. If you don't have level 84 agility or higher, you'll want to use the burning amulet teleport to the lava maze. Once you arrive here, you'll want to run east following the southern end of the lava maze until you reach the cave entrance that's located near about level 40 of the wilderness. This generally is the preferred method of getting here. You can also use the canoe spot in Edgeville to make a waka and head to the wilderness pond, but you will need an axe, which uses up an inventory spot that you could be using for food to get away from PKers. As for the Revenants themselves, there are quite a few different creatures. There are 11 different Revenants, which range in level from the level 7 Revenant Imp all the way to the level 135 Revenant Dragon. All of the Revenants share the same attacks, but obviously they scale off of level. In order to kill the Revenants, you will need a special item, which is the Bracelet of Aetherium. When this bracelet is charged with Revenant Ether, wearing it will negate all damage a Revenant would do to a player. Without this bracelet, the Revenants will be aggressive toward you and will hit very consistently and very high. So make sure you're always wearing your bracelet here and make sure it's always charged, otherwise your trips will be very expensive and very short. Now, I'd love to go through all of the Revenants and all of their background information, but then this video would be about an hour long, so we're going to skip that and head right over to the drops. All of the Revenants share the same drop table, but depending on the level of which Revenant you're killing, your drops will get better or get worse. The higher the level of the Revenant, the more common the rare drops will become. Killing the lower level Revenants won't yield as much profit. For the purpose of this video, I stuck to killing the Revenant Orcs, Dark Beasts, Knights, and Dragons. If none of these were available, I would occasionally kill the Hellhounds and Demons just because they're kind of in the middle. The Revenants will always drop somewhere between 1 and 12 Revenant Ether, the higher level Revenants usually dropping closer to 12. Make sure you're picking this up because the Ether can get pretty expensive if you're camping here for a long period of time. So picking up the Ether will cut your supply costs by quite a bit. As for the main drop table, it is pretty impressive. The higher level Revenants drop quite a few good items pretty commonly. These can include rune kite shields and plate legs, dragon plate legs and skirts, dragon longswords, dragon med helms, and battle staffs. A decent majority of the items dropped here will also be dropped in noted form, allowing them to stack up over time. Revenants will also drop a few unique items, which include the Ancient Crystal, which is used for building a teleport obelisk in your house, and ancient emblems, totems, and statuettes, which can be sold to other players or sold to the emblem trader that roams around the caves for Revenants. And lastly, the Revenants also have a drop mechanic which is very rare but can multiply certain drops by 100. The items included on this drop table are the rune kite shield, rune plate legs, dragon plate skirts, battle staffs, and onyx bolt tips. Receiving one of these drops will profit you in the millions. With the dragon plate legs and skirts giving the receiver a very nice 16.1 mil, it is the best times 100 drop you can get. So if you grab any of the unique or times 100 drops, bank immediately. It is definitely not worth losing those. So now we'll go ahead and jump into my gear setups. For this video, I actually tested out 2 different setups which seem to be the most popular. For the first setup, I decided to go with the ranging method, which uses the toxic blowpipe. I'll be going with the snakeskin bandana, Avis accumulator, salve amulet EI, blowpipe with adamant darts, black dragonhide body and chaps, bracelet of Ethereum, and Pegasian boots. Since the Revenants are considered undead, the salve amulet is the best choice of amulet here. Since mine is enchanted and imbued, I will get a plus 20% bonus to damage and accuracy to all combat styles. In my inventory, you'll see a ranging potion, looting bag, 22 sharks, a royal seed pod, and a burning amulet. The seed pod is great for getting away from PKers as it offers a one-click teleport. If you don't have this item, your next best option is wearing a ring of wealth for another quick teleport out. As for the looting bag, make sure you have one and make sure you put all of your drops in the bag. As for a little tip, if you know you're going to die to PKers, you can destroy the looting bag, which will also destroy all of the items in it. You should also put all of your items in the bag because if they aren't in the bag and you have something particularly valuable, it may protect over your salve amulet, and if it's imbued, that would suck to lose. Moving on to the gear setup, I'll be going with a Helm of Nitsnot, Myth's Cape for the crush bonus, salve amulet EI, Elder Maul, black dragonhide body and chaps, and bracelet of Ethereum and climbing boots. My inventory will remain the same as the range setup, with the only difference being a super attack and strength potion instead of the ranging potion. I chose to go with the Elder Maul here because aside from the blowpipe, it was the most popular weapon I've seen other players using, so I figured I'd settle on that. It also does provide a very high hit table, making the higher level Revenants much less likely to heal while you're trying to kill them. You may have also noticed that with both of my setups, I'm only protecting 3 items. This is because I'd rather not risk losing a 4th item. Some very large teams tend to PK at Revenants, and when they do, they have Dragon Spears and Ancient Maces, which, when comboed correctly, will instantly drain players' prayer, causing them to not be able to protect that 4th item. So when you're at the Revenants, I strongly suggest you only bring 3 items that need to be protected, and as a last little tip here, make sure you put your player attack option on hidden. This way there is no chance of you getting skulled or getting skull tricked. You'll never be able to attack another player, thus always making it possible to protect your 3 items. Alright, so now we can finally jump into the loot and the real GP per hour of the Revenants. We'll be making our way through the range setup first, then the melee setup, and then I will put the comparisons on screen afterwards. Alright, so off we go with the blowpipe loot. Normally I do 25 hours of one style, but for this video I did 12.5 hours for each method. For the first 12.5 hours of blowpiping, I ended up pulling in right around 1200 kills. I'll actually be giving 2 different views of the loot, which one will include the rares and one will not. First, we'll check out the loot without the rares. Without the rares, my total loot value came out to be 13,184,957 GP. As for supplies, I ended up spending 4,084,729 GP on scales, darts, potions, and ether. This brings my total profit to 9,100,228 GP, giving me an overall profit per hour of 728k. But now we will go ahead and throw the rares in there. I will be using the OS Buddy guide price for this because the actively traded price for the Ancient Crystal is actually around 5.1 mil. I tried to buy one in the GE for 5 mil flat and couldn't buy it, so I know the trade price is accurate. With the rares added in, my total loot value increases to 18,982,589 GP. Subtracting my supplies from this, I am left with a total profit of 14,897,860 GP, and over the course of 12.5 hours, this puts me at a profit per hour of 1,192k. So I made almost 1.2 mil per hour here at the Revenants using the ranging method. I did end up dying 4 times, so including those 4 deaths would decrease my total profit by about 400k, as I was risking about 100k in gears and supplies. But if I hadn't died at all, these values are very close to as accurate as they can be. So now we will move on to the melee loot. For meleeing, I ended up with right around 900 Revenant kills, and without the rares, I ended up grabbing a total loot value of 9,366,985 GP. Supply costs were drastically lower than the blowpipe, as I was only using supersets and Revenant ether, giving me a supply cost of only 505,284 GP, bringing my total profit down to 8,861,701 GP. Over the course of 12.5 hours, this leaves me with a profit per hour of 708k. And now adding the rares in, which I did end up grabbing one of those times 100 drops in the form of Onyx Bolt Tips, my total loot increases to 14,546,383 GP. Subtracting the supply costs, I am left with 13,951,099 GP. Averaging this out across the 12.5 hours leaves me with a profit per hour of 1,116k. I also died 4 times while meleeing, which ended up costing me another 400k in gear and supplies, but once again these values are without the deaths, so they are very close to being as accurate as they can be if you don't die. Either way you look at it, these GP per hour rates are pretty damn solid. I'm actually pretty happy that all of you out there badgered me into doing this. I ended up making some pretty nice profit off of this video. So now I'll get the comparison up on the screen and we can go through some final thoughts. With the addition of the Revenant Cave, it gives PVMers and PKers alike a very good opportunity for some decent income. With the profit per hour rates here, I'd say that just about anyone can spend a decent amount of time here rebuilding a bank. Although I didn't hit Jagex's rate of 1.5 mil per hour, I'm not really sure how they calculate it. I hope it's not calculated with best in slot gear because I'm pretty sure no one will be out here risking that. The profit per hour rates are good even without rare drops, so if you do end up hitting some rare drops, I'd say it'd be well worth the risk of being out here. Although it is a dangerous area, if you pay attention to your minimap and game screen, it really isn't that hard to get away. I found myself dying only if I wasn't paying enough attention or if it was a really big team that happened to log in while I was deeper than level 30 wilderness. But that is going to wrap up this bonus episode of the Real GP series. I want to once again thank you all for checking this video out. If you like this video or it helped you in some way, please leave a thumbs up down below. If you have any questions or comments, please also leave those down below and I'll try to get to every single one that I can. Don't forget to tap that subscribe button on your way out. I will see y'all next time. Take it easy, everybody.